Alrighty, welcome back to the Pokemon National Championship. We're here with the winner of the last match. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
So that was a pretty exciting match there. I'm sure you probably haven't played too many games against Audino so far this season. What did you think when you saw that team preview there?
I had heard somebody talking about the Audino earlier, so my guess was it was a support, but I didn't know what to expect, so I tried to lead Gyarados, and he predicted the taunt. So.
That still seems like it worked out pretty well for you, right? It's kind of a clever play by both sides. I know you kind of took the momentum from that point in the game pretty well. I'm sure the first turn didn't go out quite how you would have liked it to, but you still took control of that game pretty easily. So what were you thinking in that game? What was your goal?
I really wanted to try getting the Trick Room not to set up because most of my team is the middle speed tier. So if they go too fast or too slow on one side, I don't really have much of a shot. And with Thunder Wave, I can stop the Tailwind and stuff, but for Trick Room, I just don't have any options.
Looked like your options worked pretty well to me. Played that really well there. I was really impressed by the way that you played the second game also, because I know you had the freeze there, which is good, but it's not that simple, right? Because I mean, if you just ignore the target, you have the risk of it unthawing, and it was kind of dangerous with Aegislash in front of it. So
yeah.
That was really good. So I guess in the middle of that game there, you had the Paralyzed Maul, the Frozen Hydreigon. What were you expecting him to do there? Like, it kind of just played out with the 2-2 for quite a while there, but that was kind of strange.
I was hoping that trying to take down the Mawile was my main goal, I guess, because I didn't really have a way to hit it super effectively, except Rotom. So if he got the Specs Hydro Pump on me. But I was kind of just waiting for it to unthaw, in a sense, so that I could know where it was going to go, because I didn't want to focus on Mawile exclusively, because then Hydreigon will take down Aegislash. And I still didn't know what item he was running on the Hydreigon, so it could have been potentially bad if I left it alone.
Yeah, I thought that was really wise of you to make sure that it couldn't come back to haunt you. I thought you played that game really well, just kind of like keep control of it and make sure that you kept that advantage. Another thing too, I guess you're 3-1 now. I'm sure that's a pretty impressive performance here. Were you expecting to do this well coming in, and what are you expecting to do for the rest of the tournament?
Well, my hope coming in was to make day 2, because I've gone to a past couple regionals and I've ended with 3 losses both time. So I thought 2 losses was a realistic goal, but now that the competition's really thinned out and I played one of the better players I know of, so I was kind of just hoping to go middle of the road, maybe 3 or 4 wins today, but this is better than I expected, so maybe 2 losses would be a good goal, but just kind of trying to play it out.
Well, you've got a good shot at it here. You only need a couple more wins, and you'll be right in that top 8. Have a good shot at that World's Invitation, so good luck with that, and thanks for being on here with us.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the 2014 Pokemon Video Game National Championships here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Once more, my name's Evan Latt, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-caster, Scott Glaza here. We just witnessed a barn burner of a match between Huiha and Alec Rubin, but the past is past, and it's time for the future. And our next matchup might be even better. We have coming up onto the stage Adib Alam, perennial Nationals competitor, and none other than three-time world champion Ray Rizzo.
It should be a great match here. Ray Rizzo, one of the most popular Pokemon trainers, which happens when you win the World Championships three years in a row. Hit it off here last year. Was running a very rogue Torkoal team in the World Championships last year, which didn't get him back to the Promised Land. But this year, he's had a fantastic year. He won 2 regionals in spite of not playing at all in the fall regional season. So Ray's had a great year. He's looking like he's going to have a great Nationals. This is the one level of tournament he's never won, so it'll be interesting to see if he can try to do that here. But Adib's going to try real hard to stop him.
All right, and we are going to see these trainers' best efforts now as we jump right into the game. We are looking at Adib's team right now on your screen. He is running a Gyarados, Aegislash, Amoonguss, Tyranitar, Kangaskhan, and Goodra up against Rizzo's Politoed, Ludicolo, Zapdos, Hydreigon, Mawile, and Aegislash. And Scott, I cannot even begin to express how excited I am to see Goodra on the field.
Yeah, Goodra, another Pokemon we don't see very much, so cool to see another less popular choice here. I think Goodra's going to make a bigger splash here than Audino did in the last round. Goodra, very, very high special defense. It's a little different than the other dragons, which are more offensive. It's going to be great against Ray's Rain Pokemon. He's got Politoed and Ludicolo, so that's an excellent matchup for him. The other direction, there's some fun matchups for Ray. Mawile's one of the Pokemon that's become very popular as a Mega this year, largely because it deals well with Kangaskhan. I've been real surprised by how little Kangaskhan we've seen. It's widely considered by far to be the best Pokemon in this format, but there hasn't been much of it, at least in the matches that I've seen. So it'll be interesting to see if Adib is able to keep at least this one Kangaskhan being successful here.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting matchup there. Of course, we are getting right into the battle. On the top of your screen, you're going to see Adib Alam throwing out his Pokemon with a nice, stylish black fedora. Up against Rizzo on the bottom of your screen. Adib going for the crowd pleaser right away, leading that Goodra Kangaskhan combo up against Ray's Mawile Zapdos. Zapdos, another Pokemon we haven't seen too much of either, except for at Japanese Nationals.
Yeah, it was actually the finals of both the Senior and Masters Japanese National Championships. Ray's always been a player that's been inspired a little bit more by Japan, so maybe not too surprising to see him using Zapdos here. Zapdos doesn't have a fantastic matchup with either of these Pokemon, but not too terrible either, and Mawile's actually probably pretty excited here. It does need to look out for a potential Fire-type attack from Goodra, but it is a Pokemon that, as a Steel type, it's good against Kangaskhan. As a Fairy type, it's good against Goodra, so Mawile's looking pretty right now. It's got a good matchup against this team, and it's going to have to make great use of it because a lot of Ray's other Pokemon probably don't like this matchup very much.
Yeah, definitely. And Ray's Mawile in particular, we know, tends to be a little bit bulkier than some of the other ones, so might take a couple of hits to get the KO on some of these, but should be a very powerful offensive presence nonetheless. Goodra is very afraid of that Mawile, is going to switch out right away to the Aegislash, while Kangaskhan does what we expect it to do. Mega Evolves, the baby gets out of the pouch, and it's ready to rumble, as the Kangaskhan is going to go ahead and be matched by the Mawile's Mega Evolution. Going to get that extra power boost right off the bat, so we have both Megas shown right away. Kangaskhan going for the Mega Protect, trying to take as little damage as possible, while Zapdos' Thunder Wave does get blocked by the Protect and the Iron Head. Very smart play from Adib, basically wasting that turn.
A very safe turn by Adib there. Mawile can't do a whole lot of damage to Aegislash, so he knew if that slot was targeted, not too much would be happening there. And Kangaskhan using the Protect there to avoid the double target. An excellent play on his end. Kangaskhan is one of the few Pokemon in VGC that we don't always see Protect on because Fake Out is sometimes used instead, and Kangaskhan has a bunch of moves it really wants. It really wants one of its main normal type attacks like Return, really likes Sucker Punch, really likes Power Up Punch, so you have to give something up, and Protect is usually what's given up here, but Adib playing a little more conservatively and gets a good turn there.
And Kangaskhan is going to go right on the offensive from the bat, gets the return, only about half of Zapdos' health. That's something we don't usually see from Kangaskhan, only doing half, but the crowd goes wild for Swagger as Aegislash takes a Swagger, raises its attack, and becomes confused. Oh, but the Lumberry is going to break it out of confusion and just keep that attack boost for itself. Mawile's Iron Head is going to deal significant damage to that Kangaskhan, while the Blade form of Aegislash comes back out. And unfortunately, this looks like a special variant on the Aegislash, but does get the critical hit anyway, making up for that attack boost being on a fairly irrelevant stat.
Yeah, who needs attack boost if you get critical hits? It's just as good, right? Interesting to see the Swagger from Ray Zapdos there. He is known for using Swagger. He won the 2012 World Championships with the team based around using Swagger to boost his own Metagross's attack. I don't know if he has a Lumberry on his team this time, but he does use it to disrupt the Aegislash there. One thing about Zapdos in this format is that because it is only the Pokemon caught in Kalos, Zapdos can no longer get Heat Wave because that was a tutor from the previous generation. So Zapdos' move pool is a little bleak now. It gets pretty good electric type attacks. I can use Hidden Power, which has been reduced in power this generation, and then there really isn't much else. So we see this Zapdos being a little bit more support-oriented with Thunder Wave and Swagger.
And speaking of support-oriented, more defensive, Aegislash does go ahead and use that King Shield to switch back to the Shield form and reduce any incoming damage. Mawil's Sucker Punch does go off, targeted the Kangaskhan, not going to let Kangaskhan get another attack, does get the KO. Finally putting that Mega out very quickly. Zapdos' Swagger does go off through the King Shield. King Shield, of course, only blocking any attack moves, but the confusion and now a incredibly boosted attack-wise Aegislash.
Really, really dangerous situation for Adib here. That is one of the weaknesses of King Shield. It's a very, very cool Aegislash-specific version of Protect, where in addition to protecting it from damaging and only damaging attacks, it switches forms, and also any physical attackers that are able to hit it have their attack reduced by 2 levels. So it's in some ways better than Protect, but also in some ways weaker, and that's one of the ways it's weaker, where the non-direct damage attacks do get through, and Aegislash really has to be careful here, because with 4 levels of attack and how much its attack is raised when it switches to its attack form and how much its defense is lowered at the same time, it will almost definitely knock itself out in a single hit here if it hits itself with confusion. So the temptation is definitely going to be to switch out here for Adib. At least he's reduced Miles' health enough where if it's slower than Goodra, it's not going to be able to attack. So he's in a slightly better position here. Maybe he can get some room with the switch.
Yeah, but if any Pokemon is going to be able to bring this back for Adib, it is that Goodra. As Mawile switches out for Hydreigon, Roost coming out from Zapdos. Very bulky, very defensive play coming out from Ray, as we might expect from him. The Flamethrower, Goodra does show Flamethrower, is going to connect with that Hydreigon, dealing very little damage, not very effective at all. Aegislash takes the risks, rolls the dice, is going to try to attack, but the confusion and the huge attack boost, it hits itself in its own confusion. Not quite a one-hit KO, but wow.
Yeah, it's pretty much taking itself out of the game. It's not enough to knock it out, but with it this low, even in shield form in the future, it's going to have a hard time getting any attacks off. It could easily be knocked out by most of these Pokemon now, other than maybe Mawile. So a tough spot for it, and that's what happens, I guess, when you flip the coins. On the other hand, Ray didn't really take any risks there, right? Like, if Aegislash had been able to attack, it really wouldn't have done much to either of these Pokemon. It probably would have fired a resisted attack, or maybe not probably, but could have fired a resisted attack off either way. So well-managed game by him so far.
Yeah, Aegislash is going to switch out to reset that confusion, get rid of that, in favor of Tyranitar, another Pokemon that we've seen quite a bit, I think probably every year in this tournament. But Hydreigon is going to fire off its own Draco Meteor at the Goodra. Of course, a super effective attack, but Goodra is so bulky. Oh! Not bulky enough, just barely survives. That dealt a lot more damage than I expected. Tyranitar taking pretty negligible damage thanks to the special defense boost from the sand, as Dragon Pulse does get the one-hit KO onto Hydreigon, the Flamethrower chip damage. But Goodra proving once and for all that it is the best dragon in this format.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but that is the strength of Goodra there. With that high special defense, it's great at dealing with the other special attacking dragons. It doesn't like Garchomp quite as much, but it does take those Draco Meteors pretty well. And the players both get some information there. It's hard to tell. We don't have their items in front of us. If Goodra has Assault Vest,